Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on a remarkable Portuguese white grape that is, well, quietly stepping out of the shadows and onto the world stage. It's got the structure, the complexity, and this elegance that can truly rival some of the world's best wines.
I mean, listen to that. The vibrancy of a mountain spring with the finesse of fine white Burgundy. That's a powerful statement from Luísa Amorim, a proprietor in Portugal's Dawn wine region. She's talking about a grape that's been a local secret for ages, but is now getting some serious international buzz. That Burgundy comparison, that sets the bar incredibly high.
So what is this grape that can stand shoulder to shoulder with the absolute classics? It's called Encruzado, and its story is exactly what we're going to dive into.
To really get why this grape is such a big deal now, we've got to go back in time. We need to look at its history, where it spent decades playing this crucial but almost completely hidden role.
So the grape is called Encruzado. It's a native variety from the Dow region, right in central Portugal. For a long time, you might have even known it by its local name, Salganho. This grape is just deeply rooted in this one specific corner of the world.
For most of its life, Encruzado was the ultimate supporting actor. Seriously. Winemakers absolutely loved it because it gave structure and backbone to their white blends. It added this perfect pop of freshness and, maybe most importantly, it gave those wines the ability to age beautifully.
And that's the thing to remember. For decades, it was always there, doing all the heavy lifting behind the scenes. It was the secret ingredient, but nobody, and I mean nobody, thought it could be the star of the show. Its potential to be a standout wine all by itself was just completely overlooked.
And then, you know how these stories go, right? There was a turning point. A moment when a few really forward-thinking winemakers decided to see what this grape could actually do on its own.
This big shift started back in the early 1990s. A winemaker named Manuel Vieira over at Quinta dos Carvalhais just started experimenting. He isolated the grape, he vinified it all by itself, and then in 1992 his winery released the very first 100% Encruzado. That single decision basically laid the groundwork for everything that came after. And today, it's considered the most valuable grape in the entire Dow region.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? It perfectly captures that change in mindset. All of a sudden, winemakers saw the grape in a totally new light. It wasn't just a blender to fix other wines. It was a leading character with its own incredible story to tell.
What they found was that Encruzado didn't need any help at all. When you finally gave it the spotlight, it showed it had everything a top-tier wine needs. A solid structure, all these layers of complex flavors, and a personality that was absolutely 100% its own.
Okay, so what does it actually taste like? What is it that makes this grape so distinctive? Well, this is where we really get into its deep connection with the place it calls home.
If Encruzado has a superpower, this is it. It is incredibly sensitive to its environment. It's like a microphone for the soil and the climate of the Dow, picking up and amplifying all the little nuances of its homeland with unbelievable clarity.
And the Dow terroir? Wow, it's something special. The whole region is protected by 5 different mountain ranges. Its soils are ancient. We're talking 300 million years old, thin, deep, and mostly granite. And that unique combination is what gives the wine its signature profile. This beautiful salinity, a flinty minerality, and just this incredible vibrant freshness.
The aroma is just as complex. I mean, when it's young, you get all that bright citrus and green apple, but then there's this fantastic mineral note, kind of like whetstone or flint, right alongside these subtle herbal and floral hints. A little pine nut, some rose, maybe a bit of violet. It's a seriously layered and fascinating wine to smell.
But as fantastic as all those qualities are, they're really just one part of the story. The truly remarkable thing about Encruzado, the quality that puts it right up there with the best white wines in the world, is its incredible ability to age.
And I'm not talking about just a few years in the cellar. Winemakers who recently tasted those very first wines from the early 1990s were absolutely blown away to find them still vibrant and full of life after more than 30 years. That is truly world-class longevity.
So how is that even possible? Well, it really comes down to the grape's fundamentals, its DNA, so to speak. Encruzado can get pretty high in alcohol, which gives it that full-bodied structure, but it also has this great medium acidity, which keeps it fresh and balanced. And that combination, it's the perfect recipe for a wine that's built to last for decades.
And this is where the real magic happens. As it gets older in the bottle, the texture becomes creamier, almost silky. Those fresh fruit flavors evolve into these rich, complex notes of toasted nuts, hazelnut, and honey. And the most amazing part? it does all of this without losing that core of freshness that keeps it so energetic and alive.
All right, so by now you're probably thinking, okay, I'm sold. How do I get in on this? Let's talk about the best way to experience this rising star for yourself.
Here are 3 really easy ways to get started. First, the classic local pairing. That minerality is a perfect match for the rich, creamy sheep's milk cheese from the region. For a main course, its texture and acidity are just brilliant with everything from ceviche to creamy pastas to baked cod. And here's a simple rule of thumb. If you're ever in doubt, just treat it like you would a high-class white Burgundy. It really has that kind of versatility and elegance.
And you know, the key thing to remember here is that this isn't the end of the story. Not by a long shot. It really feels like just the beginning. There's this incredible collective movement of winemakers in the Dow who are all pushing the boundaries and exploring just how great this grape could be.
Which really just leaves us with one final thought. With its incredible complexity, its proven ability to age for decades, and the fact that it's still relatively undiscovered, could Encruzado be the best white wine you've never had the pleasure of trying? Well, there's really only one way to find out, isn't there?